having an identity as a parent is challenging kind of right from the beginning, sort of, am I going to be a good parent? Do I know how to parent? I want to impart values to my child. And now when you have a sick and dying child that you're caring for, you've taken on a very different kind of role, because you have to be advocate, you have to be regular parent, if you will, kind of loving and attentive and available as best you can be. And now you have to be advocate and medical interpreter and decision maker in a very different way. And you have to manage all the emotions that go with watching your child be sick and be in a state of dying and then die in a way that you were not prepared for when you became a parent. Usually becoming a parent does not include anticipating that, even though it does happen. And then and then after the child dies, if you have other children, your role as parent continues. You're parenting these other children, but your role as the parent who was caring for this child no longer exists. So it's another loss. It's another loss of sort of who you were as a parent for that particular child. And if you don't have other children, it can be even more complicated, because you have a sense of, am I a parent? Am I still a parent? I was a parent, and who am I now? So that piece of your identity, I have it as a memory, but I don't have it in the moment. And then the new identity that you end up taking on is you take on the identity of a bereaved parent, which is a club nobody wants to be part of, but you now have a situation where you know what it's like to have a child die, and you know what that means then for other parents who've been in that situation. And it's an identity that you carry with you into whatever you do in your future.
Letting go of that part when I knew he was going to die was hard, because I had committed my entire life. I mean, every parent commits their entire life to their children, but when you have a child with disabilities who will never live on their own, who will never be able to care for themselves fully, it's a different commitment. And you have to get to a point where you accept it. And I felt, even in our short time together, that I did accept that. And I was prepared for that in some way. And so the loss of Kai was one thing, but the loss of my life with Kai for the rest of my life was a whole other thing that was really hard, which is, I guess, why I do this stuff now. Because you can't, once you commit yourself, for me, once I committed myself to that life, there was no going back, whether he's here or not. I continue to involve myself in this community that I was a part of when he was sick and alive, and with blind kids at Perkins and Camp Sunshine and all these other resources that really became my life, my friends and family, and my whole life. I haven't let go much of that. I still am very involved in all of those things. And while it is starting to shift to a different thing, where it's I have a different role in those places, I still can't fully let go of them and don't want to. It's hard for people to understand,